of this have on the war. I want to bring in Chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Texas Republican Congressman Michael McCaul. Congressman, thanks for joining us. So,
hey, Charles.
Russian President Vladimir Putin saying that there's going to be reprisals. There's going to be a response to this. What do you think? How far will this escalate it, and what will the impact be on the war?
Let me say first, I think the Ukrainian drone attack on the bridge between Russia and Crimea is very significant in terms of the counteroffensive. This is really the supply line, if you will, of troops and weapons going from Russia through Crimea into the occupied territories of Ukraine. So that's a very significant development. On the Black Sea grain deal, I believe that Russia for some time has been saying that they are not going to move forward with this agreement. And Charles, what does that mean for not just Ukraine, but the rest of the world? It means that by doing so, and it's very irresponsible in my judgment, they can, you'll see global famine, particularly in Africa. Mm-hmm. It will also impact food prices in Europe, but also in the United States. This will have a direct impact on food prices really around the world, and I hope we can get our allies and countries like Turkey to help change Mr. Putin's mind.
Well, I mean, to that point, though, shouldn't the United States, Ukraine, and our allies have seen this coming?
I think so.
We had a year to prepare for it.
Well, you know me, I'm always for manufacturing in the United States. I think we got a great food supply here in the United States. We ought to be manufacturing here. We ought to be manufacturing semiconductor chips in the United States, looking at rare earth minerals instead of China. Instead of looking to China for these things, we ought to be doing it right here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised that rare earth isn't really rare. It's just sort of dangerous and harder to get to. Chairman, exactly. I want to talk about this subpoena that you subpoenaed the State Department. You want documents related to sanction policies toward China. Today was the deadline. Have you heard back?
No, we haven't, and we're going to move forward. Look, this whole charm offensive with Beijing, I'm all for diplomacy, but to just get a meeting in the room, they have made concessions to not enforce export controls of, say, semiconductors to China. They've been not enforcing sanctions on human rights, like their violations against the Uyghur Muslims. And they've also, their drawdown to send weapons to Taiwan, they have not moved forward on that. Because they're trying to play nice with Beijing. But if you know in a negotiation, you need leverage and strength. You don't start in a weak position. And then topple that with the spy balloon, the Cuba spy station, and now recently this hack in the State Department with their East Asian Pacific division, prior to the visit of Secretary of State Blinken to Beijing.
By the way, just let the audience know, we've also reached out to the State Department, and we haven't heard from them yet. You talk about these visits. We got another high-profile visit. U.S. Climate Envoy John Kerry there to try to restart negotiations. I mean, China's building a coal power plant every couple of weeks. They've got the most nuclear power in the world by far, and they're determined you need energy to run an economy, and they're determined to make their economy the biggest in the world. What does John Kerry think he's going to do other than embolden China to be even more belligerent?
Well, he testified for my committee just the other day, and I asked him the question, why is China considered a developing nation under the United Nations, which they are using, Charles, to not come into compliance with the Paris Agreement until 2060.
Chairman McCaul, I'm sorry, I've got to cut you off. We're going to go to the Gilgo Beach presser.
Okay, thank you.